Beyond Order, Jordan Peterson. Beyond Order presents 12 more life principles that build on the ideas in Jordan Peterson's previous bestseller, 12 Rules for Life. In this new book, Peterson delves into the importance of social institutions, the pursuit of meaning through responsibility, the dangers of ideology, and the transformative power of art and beauty. He argues that order and chaos are both vital parts of life, and we must balance conservative and creative tendencies to thrive. Peterson draws on philosophy, psychology, and timeless stories to provide practical wisdom on how to find purpose, confront suffering, and live a life of depth and integrity. Though life entails tragedy, these principles aim to help readers discover the heroic within and to pursue virtue and truth. Beyond Order offers inspiring insights on creating an ethical personal life while making a positive difference in the wider world. If you enjoy my videos and find value in what I share, I kindly ask you to support the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it would mean the world to me. Thank you. 1. Value institutions and creativity. Social institutions encode generations of wisdom about living a good life, yet we often take these frameworks for granted, prioritizing radical individualism over traditions, drawing on clinical experience, evolutionary biology, and cultural narratives. This chapter elucidates the vital interplay between order and chaos in human affairs. Individuals lacking social connection frequently suffer anxiety and aimlessness. A depressed, isolated client improved simply by forging communal ties and artistic pursuits. Rediscovering creativity and relationships imbued his life with renewed purpose. As a hypersocial species, human sanity relies on continual communication and cultural learning. Abstract sign systems allow us to glean general principles for action. Stories condense observed patterns into relatable characters. Accumulated knowledge orients people toward the good. Still, conditions change. Creative visionaries become critical to avoiding institutional stagnation. Artists and innovators update rigidifying traditions, just as the mythic hero challenges rules when necessary. Peterson analyzes the recurring theme of battles between deities as clashes between value systems before new hierarchies emerge. Societies require both conservative stewardship and liberal revitalization. Examining biblical narratives reveals the tension between respecting tradition and transforming creatively. Customs provide stability, but can calcify into dogma. Seeking dynamic equilibrium between order and chaos is key. Though difficult, recognizing codependence between temperaments enables adaptation. Institutions frame experience but should not confine it. Like Socrates and Freud, Peterson emphasizes dialogue's centrality. Even the wise cannot see their blind spots. Testing ideas against critics forges understanding. Shared communication builds stabilizing structures, yet ossified systems lose relevance. Creativity must challenge assumptions. Through open discourse and avoiding extremism, societies encode wisdom while updating for new realities. 2. Imagine your potential, then aim for it. Stories and images provide windows into human potential. This chapter analyzes an ancient alchemical woodcut depicting the integrated personality. A winged sphere signifies unexplored possibilities. Atop it perches a dragon, representing the danger and promise of new information. From this emerges a rebis, a two-headed figure integrating masculine and feminine principles. The process is guided by Mercury, attracting interest and meaning. Peterson relates this esoteric imagery to modern psychology. The unknown grips attention, possessing an individual toward transformation. It also presents a risk. By voluntarily confronting chaos, we can extract its potential while managing peril. Integrating opposites like order and chaos produces self-realization. The chapter explores an ancient Mesopotamian creation myth about gods embodying nature's elements. Their careless actions disturb their primordial parents, Tiamat and Apsu. Seeking order, Tiamat prepares for war. Eventually, the hero god Marduk emerges to defeat her, using eyes that see everything and magic words. He creates mankind to maintain equilibrium. Here Peterson finds parallels to achieving psychological unity, Vision and articulation allow channeling of chaos productively. Other myths echo this structure. Osiris ignores dangers in his kingdom, enabling evil Set to dismember him. Isis gathers his remnants, giving birth to Horus, who defeats Set through moral courage. In the Harry Potter series, chaos threatens Hogwarts. By daring to see clearly and speak the truth, Harry restores order. Such narratives model the interplay of chaos, blindness, and heroism in human experience. Peterson synthesizes these ideas through Jungian psychology. Social discourses shape shared realities. Artistic visions reveal the transcendent. Symbols manifest universal patterns. Myths sculpt archetypes. By integrating cultural wisdom, we actualize potential within us. Story and image awaken our latent capacities to find meaning amidst suffering and to transform creatively as circumstances require. Our conscious intuition guides us toward realizing self and society's highest good. 3. Confront difficult truths. Facing difficult emotions and harsh truths is essential for psychological health and meaning. This chapter explores how avoiding unwanted realities distorts our lives. Traumas and painful memories remain potent when left unprocessed. Like physical injuries, emotional wounds need cleansing before they can heal. Yet it is tempting to numb discomfort through distraction or denial. Such repression, however, merely displaces troubles into the unconscious. They continue influencing thoughts and behaviors in unrecognized ways. Freud described how banishing traumatic memories to the psyche's depths caused neuroses. But beyond commissions like repression, sins of omission also enable self-deception. Willful blindness refuses to explore potentially upsetting areas. It is easier to ignore problems than confront them, though this piles future catastrophes. Due to complexity, truth resists articulation. Experiences become understood through dialogue, enactment, and story. Simple event descriptions omit context-shaping significance. Interpersonal conflicts spiral as interpretations clash. Truth is dialogically forged. Without communicating feelings, introspection, and exchange, the world remains vague and confusing. Formless emotions like anxiety persist, lacking sources. Doubts multiply but cannot be dispelled. Resentment festers. Psychological integration becomes impossible. Healing necessitates engaging trauma's wisdom. This requires courageously facing harsh realities, even pain's deepest roots. But avoiding sunshine prolongs sickness. Cleansing wounds, though initially unpleasant, enables recovery. Catharsis renews possibility. Myths resonate by dramatizing this need for confronting the terrible unknown. Marduk accepts chaos's challenge, restoring order. Heroes journey underground to retrieve treasures from dragons. Christ fuses death's suffering with life's hope. Such narratives embody humanity's eternal battle against unexplored darkness. Life entails risk and suffering, but through communication, truth, and courage, pitfalls become opportunities. Darkness conceals gems. Monsters guard gold. The purest light shines against the deepest shadows. Life's meaning emerges from transforming chaos into order. Succumbing to fear obscures potential. Only confrontation reveals destiny. 4. Embrace responsibility. Meaning stems from responsibility shouldered voluntarily, not happiness pursued directly. Suffering characterizes existence, but adopting maximal responsibility to reduce it offers purpose. Happiness brings impulsivity, fixing us in the present. Yet we exist across time, requiring consideration of future selves. Satisfying momentary desires often harms longer-term well-being. Pure self-interest thus fails. Instead, Peterson suggests orienting towards responsibility maximization. This aligns present and future, binding competing internal motivations into unity. Conscience intuitions emerge from the deepest levels, guiding us toward duty and away from expedient nihilism. Responsibility provides the heaviness of burden worth carrying. It offers the opportunity to actualize potential for good, despite life's tragedy. With courage, even the dismal reveals hidden gems in many challenges conquered. Small successes build faith in asserting agency amidst uncertainty. The mythic hero's journey epitomizes this. Abraham heeds God's call, leaving safety for difficulty. His tests forge character and nationhood. Harry Potter likewise confronts chaos and evil. Osiris ignores threats in his kingdom, enabling disorder, but his son Horus sees clearly, restoring order through moral courage. Such myths resonate by dramatizing responsibilities linked to meaning. In Genesis, God's call does not promise happiness, only hardship overcome through strength and faith. But avoiding adventure means possibilities remain untapped. Facing fears, not avoiding dragons, enables seizing destiny. Personal development requires exploring potentials while managing risks. Chaos's unpredictability is necessary, but must be constrained. Order enables security, yet rigidifies without creativity. Endless games teach gradually improving while rule following, until rules can be challenged. For Peterson, conscience intuition manifests through resentment, revealing injustice. Noticing opportunity where responsibility was abdicated enables channeling anger productively by adopting duty voluntarily. Suffering results from errors and blindness, but chaos contains order. Courageously confronting problems redeems unrealized promise. Life's highest goal is minimizing unnecessary tragedy. Imperfection persists, but aiming at virtue and truth despite suffering finds meaning. With humility and commitment, tragedy becomes triumph. The heroic individual strengthens self and society. Destiny calls to those brave enough to listen. 5. Listen to your conscience. This chapter examines when to stop participating in worrisome collective processes threatening conscience. Though avoiding conflict often seems easiest, passively enabling harmful group dynamics has high psychological costs. Peterson recounts a client pressured to use politically correct language at her corporation. Meetings discussed hypothetical offensiveness of words like flip chart and blackboard. Rather than simply ignoring this folly, the client felt increasingly complicit in mandated dogma she considered unethical. Remaining silent allowed corrupt ideology to spread within the organization. Each concession constrained future speech further, tightening the grip of willful blindness. With tension building, eventually even tiny triggers risk explosive confrontation. Peterson argues that minor frustrations recurring daily become existentially problematic when aggregated across lifelong relationships. Sins of omission enabling injustices to persist can outweigh dramatic transgressions. Willful ignorance merely postpones reckoning. Self-deception eases short-term comfort, but stores up disasters. Experiences that contradict expectations require deeper processing to extract understanding. Yet trauma often remains latent, influencing unconsciously. Truth emerges through confronting discordant realities. This demands courage, as exposing ignorance risks status and acceptance. But integrity compels facing feared unknowns rather than rationalizing doubtful certitudes. Growth requires bees extracting wisdom from poisonous flowers. Tyranny expands by small concessions until saying no becomes impossible. But competently refusing questionable orders strengthens community, even benefiting opponents wrestling with conscience. When authority exceeds ethics, individual dissent renews social health. Each person must weigh when accommodation becomes appeasement, when conformity turns to complicity. But the slide into corruption begins by accepting what inner guidance condemns. Noticing this and speaking truth sustain meaning amidst chaos's familiarity. 6. Avoid ideological thinking. Ideology simplifies complex realities by attributing causality to single abstract forces like economics or gender. This chapter explores ideology's dangers and constraints needed to balance creatively. Ideologies reduce multidimensional problems to unified theories. Marxism overemphasizes class conflict, feminism gender power imbalances. Though their observations contain truth, equating one force with society's ills spawns blindness. Attributing flaws to villains justifies combating them. But human failings resist simplification. Resentment disguises envy as righteousness. Without humility, reformers risk becoming tyrants. Idolizing abstractions lets individuals disown responsibility. Institutions become oppressors, not flexible systems requiring engagement. Withdrawing civically creates a vacuum filled by polarization. Yet constraints breed creativity. Games need rules to be playable. Distinctions focus meaning. The finite nine muses begat infinite art. Repressing chaos risks stagnation, but unconstrained freedom becomes anarchy. Jungians see individuals mirrored in society. Just as psyches balance ego with unconscious, cultures require conservative stewardship and liberal innovation. Both become totalitarian without the other, yet balance is unstable and constantly renegotiated. Discord between temperaments drives progress. Totalizing theories cannot capture lived complexity. Ideology cannot replace realistic discourse between flawed people. Facts that contradict ideology get excluded to preserve coherence, but reality bursts constraint. Pretending otherwise leaves people mystified when expectations shatter. Open debate integrates pluralism into functional structures. Without shared communication, tribalism reigns. Agreeing on rules, though arbitrary, enables cooperation through reciprocity. Detaching from arbitrary systems risks nihilism and isolation. Humans need unifying pursuits to thrive. Life requires both order and openness. Discarding either fails. Rigidity gives no voice to the unseen. Chaos mutes signal with noise. Discerning limited truth within ideologies while avoiding possession sustains meaning. No single force governs existence. Reality remains too complex for totalizing theories. Only engaging multiplicity synthesizes wisdom. 7. Work diligently toward a goal. Discipline and focused effort enable transforming potentials into skills and achievements. This chapter explores the journey from apprentice to master. Life demands learning endless games where rules constantly change. Incremental progress requires practicing fundamentals first. As basics become automatic, higher complexity becomes manageable. Music illustrates this. Scales and chords precede melodies, which combine into expressive compositions. Sports too rely on drills before strategic play. Foundational skills open creative possibilities, but discipline develops slowly against impatience for easy gratification. Delayed reward requires faith. Current sacrifices enable future success. Resisting distraction builds self-control and grit. Mastery also demands confronting ignorance. Suffering emerges from blindness to underlying processes, yet admitting uncertainty risks status and confidence. Openly facing errors and listening to critics fosters wisdom and growth. Peterson analyzes Christ's temptation in the desert using Jungian psychology. Christ refuses self-deception by recognizing his shadow. He rejects expedience and ego, choosing intrinsic morality over extrinsic incentives. His humility before truth exemplifies enlightenment. Eastern traditions also emphasize emptying the ego. Buddhism's eightfold path demands right understanding, intention, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. Flow states emerge from discipline. Detachment enables creativity. Life follows an iterative deepening. As skills improve, higher complexity becomes possible. Recurring cycles of chaos and order drive increasing competence. Through focus and courage, mastery over some chaos brings meaning. But chaos also humbles hubris. Unexpected challenges disrupt complacency. Loss shatters assumptions. Suffering contains opportunity for heroic growth if faced consciously. Training instills resilience when disorder inevitably emerges. With openness and humility, the journey continues. Step by step, self-discipline builds strength and agency. But the path requires honesty, patience, and sacrifice. By mastering fundamentals and confronting ignorance, the dangling potential actualizes over time. With commitment, skills compound into excellence. 8. Surround yourself with beauty. Surrounding ourselves with beauty uplifts spirit and offers a gateway to transcendence. Peterson explores aesthetics' power and the role of art in forging meaning. Beauty cues sensations of perfection, capturing attention intensely to reveal unseen aspects of reality. Visual symmetries and musical harmonies resonate by matching mental patterns. Aesthetics tap our longing for truth. Art truthfully represents lived experience, distilling observations into stirring works. Creativity binds chaos through forms instilling order. Great artists channel mysterious energies into resonating compositions. The creative process awakens consciousness to a heightened being. Making art requires open receptivity, then actively shaping ambiguous information into defined works. This parallels waking cognition. Suffering characterizes human existence, but through art, tragedy becomes transformed into beauty, evil into goodness. Music and image allow safely encountering intense emotion. Aesthetics domesticate chaos. Beauty reminds us of ideals and redemptive promises. Confronting meaningful art adjusts outlook from anxiety to hope. Creativity mirrors life's patterns, enabling self-transcending elevation. Peterson analyzes Van Gogh, whose brilliance emerged from wrestling with mental illness. Suffering channeled into visionary paintings allowed communication beyond conceptual language. Art symbolically represents subjective experiences. Great architecture uplifted medieval masses by manifesting transcendence in physical forms. Gothic cathedrals modeled heavenly perfection, orienting communities toward the divine. Surrounding ourselves with natural splendor and human artistry makes life richer. Aesthetics cultivate love, meaning, and inspiration. They hint at numinous realms beyond mere existence. Engaging beauty develops character and wisdom. Creative expression orders chaos, builds identity, and reveals life's possibilities. Even amidst darkness, the light of truth and beauty eternally shines. 9. Rewrite painful memories. Painful memories remain potent when left unprocessed, distorting our lives. This chapter examines techniques to rewrite our pasts to find meaning. Trauma resists neat encapsulation into explicit narratives. Attempting precise description often trivializes suffering, yet avoided pain lingers, influencing unconsciously. Healing requires engaging in trauma's wisdom. This demands courageously facing harsh realities, even suffering's roots. But avoiding darkness prolongs sickness. Cleansing emotional wounds enables recovery. Through imagination, art, and ritual, we can integrate memories into redemptive scripts. Creative expression draws meaning from experience. Reframing our story allows transcending victimhood. Peterson describes visualizing resented figures within a mythical battle of good versus evil. Their flaws become comprehensible as ignorance within an eternal struggle. Compassion arises. The innate hero's journey also fosters meaning-making. Encountering trauma is like the collapse in creative myths. By taking responsibility during crises, we become redeemers. Altering life's programs requires imagining alternate futures, then living that potential. Mental rehearsal strengthens resolve. Articulating visions through art actualizes possibilities. Ritual consecrates new identities, allowing full inhabitation. Ceremonies render spirits visible, integrating community wisdom. Initiations formalize transitions into grace. Mythic imagination helps frame struggles in heroic terms. Seeing reality's metaphysical dimensions expands identity beyond ego. Suffering contains opportunities for vital growth if we have courage to engage it fully. Life presents darkness and wonder. By nurturing compassion, creativity, and responsibility, we can interpret experiences as revelation rather than pain. Rewriting inner narratives allows transcending passive victimhood. Our personalized mythology imbues existence with purpose. Integrating trauma forges meaning. 10. Maintain relationship romance. This chapter explores the hero archetype and its intimate relationship with adversarial chaos. Personal growth emerges from voluntarily confronting the unknown. The foundational hero myth involves encountering the unknown, representing it abstractly, and returning with life-enhancing wisdom. Heroes dare to adventures others avoid. Such figures resonate universally by embodying profound patterns. Marduk exemplifies this in facing primordial chaos, discovering its underlying rules, then restoring order. His courage, vision, and articulation exemplify the hero's journey into darkness to retrieve energizing meaning. Myths depict chaos as feminine, perhaps because unexplored territory symbolically births novel order. The Great Mother Goddess embodies material existence itself. Her womb harbors creation and destruction, yet too much chaos threatens vital order, so the hero emerges to calm excess while harnessing creative energies. Through adventure into the abyss, he channels vitality towards social stability. Individual psychology mirrors this eternal dynamic. The unknown grips attention, forcing engagement and growth. Its danger thrills. By exploring fear voluntarily, we extract chaos's hidden value, but pretensions must die before rebirth. The collapse phase dissolves naive identity. Only after chaotic dissolution can new structures emerge from the void, establishing mature identity. Traditions enable social functioning, yet ossify without challenge. Creativity renews meaning from eternal chaos. Heroes innovate within constraints, improving rules and customs. Through courage and vision, they redeem stagnating systems. Life requires each person to heretically update their identity and society. But chaos additionally brings catastrophe. So heroes strengthen adaptive resilience while extracting beauty from suffering. Our epic duty remains celebrating order, yet battling tyranny. (11) Shun resentment and deceit. Religious myths dramatize timeless moral truths. Their supernatural imagery represents transcendent reality beyond tangible existence. This chapter analyzes biblical stories for psychological wisdom. The Bible resonates because its symbolism reveals the deeper patterning of human experience. Events represent more than literal history. Figures embody archetypal forces still active within. For example, Genesis depicts creation by the divine word. This symbolizes how conscious intuition manifests as speech. Moral knowledge emerges in consciousness through language, enabling abstract thought. The fall narrative dramatizes the emergence of self-conscious awareness. The serpent's promise that Adam and Eve could become like gods signifies an egocentric separation from unquestioned animal existence. With self-consciousness arose new knowledge, but also shame, doubt, and death awareness. Yet curses also carried redemptive promise about life's cyclical renewal through labor and childbirth. Cain killing Abel embodies envy and its roots in resentment against divine beneficence. But God still guards Cain, recognizing evil's origin and suffering. Marks of protection symbolize how conscious intuition opposes destructive envy. The flood represents correcting excess chaos, threatening order. Noah's Ark houses symbolic pairs of creatures in a miniature cosmos. This dramatizes limiting rebirth's possibilities to cautiously advance order while retaining creative diversity. Such episodes enact humanity's eternal psychodrama, seeking truth and redemption within a fallen world. Reading biblically reveals the inner path from ignorance toward enlightenment. Myths grant access to higher aspects of being. (12) Find gratitude in hardship. Suffering poses a profound theological challenge. This chapter analyzes biblical narratives for lessons on finding meaning amidst life's tragedy. The book of Job considers unjust suffering of the righteous. After losing everything, Job still refuses to curse God, but he demands explanation from supposed friends touting simplistic karma. In response, God speaks from a whirlwind, chastising Job's ignorance of cosmic complexity exceeding human comprehension. Yet God still restores Job for maintaining faith despite unjust fate. This models wrestling tragically with divine silence. Steadfast morality in the face of mystery forges character. Demanding answers may go unheard, but the search holds meaning. The story of Christ's passion conveys transforming burdens into voluntary sacrifice. Despite brutal torture, Jesus redeems his persecutors through love. The divine participates in suffering to uplift humanity. Peter initially resists Christ's prophecy of death, desiring to avert tragedy. But Christ critiques this refusal of fate's burden as an act of Satan tempting compromise. Existence necessitates suffering. Evasion breeds self-deception, not transcendence. The hero confronts pain courageously, integrating it into higher meaning. Avoidance obscures truth. Ecclesiastes 2 warns against pursuing fleeting pleasures to escape sorrow. Lasting contentment arises from moral purpose, not hedonism. Suffering begets wisdom in the dutiful. Through faith and compassion, tragedy can nourish the soul. Forgiving adversity, improving morally, aligning with transcendence, this transforms victimhood into heroic meaning. Myths resonate by representing timeless struggles. By seeing suffering as revealing spiritual destiny, identity expands beyond the broken ego. Even unjust pain may foster wholeness under divine care. Recommended readings. I'd highly recommend checking out Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. if you're looking for a thoughtful guide to finding meaning amidst life's chaos. It draws deeply from clinical experience and spiritual traditions to offer wisdom on taking responsibility, confronting suffering, and discovering your highest self. For more in that vein, I'd point you towards The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. It's a wonderfully accessible distillation of his seminal work on global myths and archetypes. Campbell argues mythic imagination remains vital for making sense of existence and awakening to our shared humanity. Any fan of Peterson's use of myth will find a kindred spirit in Campbell, and I'd be remiss not to mention The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. Like Peterson, Peck explores suffering as an opportunity for growth if engaged consciously. He offers insights on accepting responsibility, integrating our shadows, and finding meaning through delayed gratification. It's a classic blend of philosophy, psychology, and spirituality around life's core challenges. Between Peterson, Campbell, and Peck, you'll have three wise guides to the perennial human search for purpose, self-understanding, and living responsibly. Their books draw from broad learning and distill it into empowering, uplifting wisdom we all need in chaotic times.